you guys are going to go into this, what we call a gallery. So basically what Katie has done, this is Katie, she's gone in, she's taken your names off of your resumes, and she's just hung them up on the wall. And underneath the resume is a white bag. All right, so I'm going to give you guys a time limit to go into the gallery, and you're going to take your white piece of paper and your pencil, and you are going to look at that resume, and let's see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I'm going to give you 8 minutes to review 8 resumes, okay? So pretty easy math. What we want you to do is whatever your first impression of that resume is just jot it down. And then put it in the bag. We're going to come in here, we're going to leave the bags in there. We're going to come in here and then we're just going to process. So we're going to say, what surprised you? What did you love? What didn't you like? You know, you're just going to process out loud. In order to grow, you need a safe environment. So you don't, I don't want you guys to come back in here and think, oh gosh, somebody's going to say, they know which resume, they won't know which resume. Ashton, she's a human resource for NAU. She doesn't read your resume and think, oh, I'm going to hurt her feelings. She's going to say, do they have the basic requirements? And is this person going to come in this environment and be successful? So the best thing you can do for each other is just be honest.
I thought a lot of them had like a lot of wording on it, and going through a lot of resumes like companies do and like managers do, like to hire someone, that'd be really like annoying to me to just have to sit there and almost like read like these like really long stuff.
You kind of just skimmed through it and didn't like really read what kind of skills.
Your resume up on the wall compared to everyone else's.
I think one thing that's really important, and one thing that I was taught, is to put your job experience that's related to the position. Working at a daycare going to help me get a job as an academic advisor? Like, are those skills applicable to this job? Not really.
I worked in Lady Footlockers, I worked in retail, but that's also a customer service experience that you have as well. So sometimes you can list previous experiences or employment as long as they kind of like are related to your job that you're applying for.
Position for anything has 118 applicants for one job opening. How would that change how you looked at the resumes?
We were talking today and we were saying the 2 page is the new 1 page, but
it depends on how you can get through that information, the better. So for a lot of the hospitality jobs you might be applying for, a 1-page resume might be ideal. If you go on to that 2nd page, that's fine. Just make sure you have at least half of a page and it's filled with relevant information.
One thing for me I saw was the objectives. Sometimes they weren't there, sometimes they're just really vague.
Sometimes instead of listing your objectives, you can just do a cover letter. And the cover letter is kind of like your objective anyway.
The skills profile, or that some of it you had a summary of qualifications, and that made it really easy to see right off the bat what experience and skills you really wanted to highlight and how those were relevant to the job that I was maybe hiring for.
With like having like cardstock or like printing your resume on some like a nicer paper.
Yes, especially for the career fair.
And then I've also heard having a picture of yourself on a resume. Don't do that.
Don't, yeah, because sometimes they, I'm not saying all companies do this, but they can't discriminate.
Okay.
List my references, but you want to let your references know that somebody's going to be calling you know, because I do background checks too in my job, and so I view the references and everything. And when I call that person, and they're like, I don't even know who this person is or anything like that, or change their number, I would do references available upon request.
And I would actually say differently. You don't need to put references available upon request on your resume. Because they know that if they ask for them and you want the job, that you'll provide those. So you don't need to actually put that line on your resume, but maybe just make it a separate reference page and be ready in the interview to provide
No,
that.
definitely honesty is the best policy. Brand yourself, so neatness counts. I saw some people, you know, some parts of their resume were underlined, but then some parts, you know, their dates were over here, some were italicized, and just make sure it's all the same. So know your audience, so then like, do research on the job that you're applying for. Read their everything, their mission statement, to see what they need to do, the job description. Get help. Obviously, like I said, I'm available to help you guys. Gateway. Make sure that, like for NAU, we do the CIPI matrix. So if you don't meet like the minimum qualifications, or if you do, then we either proceed to review your resume or we don't. So it's like, don't short yourself, because whatever you put in your resume, seriously, I'd put it on the application,
Okay.
because they're gonna look at what.
Filled out an application online, like once you've submitted a resume and then had to do the whole application process?
Yeah, I feel like a lot
Keep
of
on
it.
updating your resume, because when you get more and more job duties, I swear I keep going back and I'm like, oh, I wish I would have remembered writing this in my resume. Because I have to go back and look at the trainings that I've done, you know, and everything. Just keep adding it. Like, you can have one master resume, it's like 5 pages long. And then whenever you get down to your job that you're applying for, go ahead and just obviously
One of the guidelines on feedback is that if you keep getting the same feedback over and over, that might be a change you might want to make. And then you just have to filter what works for you and what doesn't work for you, so.